Greetings, Guardians, my name is Bife here. So, this week in the Season of the Seraph, we actually got to visit the Seraph Station. We're almost certainly going to be revisiting this place a lot over the next few weeks, because a lot of it just hasn't been revealed yet. There are laser barriers that we haven't been able to collapse, there are places that are still hidden away. The Seraph Station is just chock full of opportunities for secrets that could be revealed at a later date, and it's likely that it's got some dramatic bits and pieces at its center that we just aren't even close to reaching or understanding yet. Either way, the mystery of the Seraph Station is one that we'll start to unravel this week. But it starts, realistically, with a reflection on other events, and a major question about the loyalties of Eramis, the leader of the House of Salvation, due to what the witness has done to her family. But first, a word from our sponsors at Factor. Cooking and preparing a massive meal is all very well when it comes to Christmas or Thanksgiving, but let's be honest, we don't always have a week to prepare a single meal. Most of the time, meal prep is tough, and making sure a meal is healthy and suits what you need right now, even tougher. But luckily, Factor has a very simple solution for you. With Factor's meal kits, you can cut down on the waste and time that it takes you to prep your meals, thanks to their high-quality pre-portioned ingredients. Factor's meals are convenient and easy to cook, which is great for gamers like myself who are looking to get the most out of their spare time and ensure that they're getting those sweet, sweet drops of loot as well as actually looking after their health and nutrition. Factor also has options for vegan, low-calorie, vegetarian, keto, and other dietary constraints, so you've got options no matter what you choose. So what are you waiting for? Use my link, or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGBIFEDEC60 for 60% off your first box. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video. So, as we start the video this week, let's go ahead and start with the dialogue from Clovis Bray and Elsie Bray talking to you about what needs to be done.
Guardian, you'll be pleased to hear that Elizabeth has finally come around to our way of thinking, as I knew she would. She will assist your infiltration of the orbital station, a feat made possible now that I have decrypted the codes for the launch pods. Unfortunately, despite the reintegration of both the Malahayati and Charlemagne submines, Rasputin remains incapable of self-restoration. There is simply too much missing code for its internal algorithm to fill in the rest on its own. We require more data. Infiltrate the vaults and retrieve it. The more data you obtain, the faster Rasputin's protocols can facilitate its reconstruction. Do not tarry. You can be assured that our enemies won't.
I've been reviewing the data from your previous infiltrations of the launch facility, as well as schematics of the Seraph Station. Here's where we're at. Anna can remotely inject malicious code into the launch pods. That will allow you to dock at the Seraph Station without drawing fire from its defense systems. We only have one window of opportunity to do this before House Salvation figures out what we're up to. No room for error. Once you're aboard the station, I'll guide you to the Warmind Integration Core. There, we'll upload a virus into its system. The virus will hold open a backdoor to the Seraph Station's network. We can remotely transfer control of the station to Rasputin once he's ready. We have no idea what the Hive or House Salvation have done to the station, so we'll need to think on our feet and act quickly. But that's what you're best at.
From that moment, we're going to head up to the Seraph Station, which is in geosynchronous orbit above the Traveler and has been for a long time. The orbital defenses of the station have been activated by the House of Salvation, and that's a major problem for us. We can't approach the station by ship, and it's definitely not in transmat range, so we're going to have to jump onto this thing via surface-to-orbit jump pod. Luckily, we've got some in the nearby facility that we've been prepping, and we've been infiltrating it in regular fashion week by week. And for just a quick second, I feel like we need to reflect on the first bit here. All of this takes place at Twilight Gap. Can we talk about that for a second? The Hive have taken Twilight Gap. The Hive are basically at the edge of the city. The last time Twilight Gap was threatened, everyone was kind of making a big deal out of it, you know? It was something close to 3 million odd fallen, barreling down the door of the Guardians in the city, and meanwhile Xivu Arath's forces are just, you know, kind of chilling here. It's not a big deal at all. I feel like we're not panicked enough about that, but either way, it's pretty cool to see more references to the Twilight Gap and those who took part in that battle. The area is called Nkeshi's Cut, Nkeshi being one of the 6 Fireteam members who helped defend Twilight Gap alongside Anna Bray and Lord Shaxx. It's really neat to see all the history bound up in this place. Either way, we make our way into the facility, see that things are starting to get very Deepstone Crypt flavored, and get shot up into space. There's a lot of stuff to unpack here on this station, but first, I think we need to talk about this. The views of the Traveler and the city from space are absolutely majestic, but I have to ask a question. Why are we just hearing about the Seraph Station now? Is it cloaking tech? Is it negligence on the part of the Hidden? Did the city just know about it and keep it a secret? This thing has been hanging above the city like the sword of Damocles this whole time and nobody noticed? You're asking me to suspend my disbelief in quite the fashion there if you really want me to believe any of those except for a really good cloaking tech MacGuffin, which I guess is possible, but it's not stated anywhere in the lore. I don't mind the idea of a secret station above Earth, even above the Traveler, that's a cool idea. But we need to have that explained, otherwise I'm just left here saying something stupid like, oh, they never knew it was there. All this time it has been around. Who knows? But, you know, maybe I'm just missing something. I'm sure that if I am, someone in the comments section is going to let me know. If that's the case, then hey, my ignorance gets informed and then there was an answer to this point. But who knows? For the moment, I don't know of one. Anyway, the station is being invaded by the House of Salvation and the Hive of Xivu Arath. The Hive aren't able to hack the complex computer systems of the station, but the splicers of the House of Salvation can, so they're conducting a joint operation. We'll see both Hive and Fallen here. As we venture further into the station, we start to unlock more and more systems up until we reach this point where we have to get a little, creative?
We've hit a dead end. I can't bypass security, but I think I have an idea. Play along. You need to surrender to House Salvation. One of Aramis's captains has put an order to bring you in alive so that he can present you to her as a trophy. Make some noise to draw their attention. It'll help sell the bluff.
She's here? Of course. That must be how Xivu Arath plans on co-opting the Warsat network. The Hive can't do it on their own, so the Witness sends Aramis and her splicers in to assist.
Believe they fell for that. Transmat access acquired. Weapons incoming. Neutralize the crew and get to the front of the catch.
After facing off against another ancient Hive of Xivu Arath, this time who's apparently tangled with the helium drinkers back on Thunderment, again with the point I made in the last week's video about how these are old Hive who have rallied to Xivu's banner, we do get to this point here where we surrender to one of Aramis's captains. I'm pretty sure there's something in the Geneva Convention about this. Yeah, I checked in the process of making this video. It's literally in this. Pretending to surrender and then taking the offensive again, it's a war crime. So, yeah, that's not... I mean, you know, I guess the Geneva Convention didn't make it through the collapse, and now that it's lost and forgotten, it's one thing, and I guess these guys are serving the Witness and our foes, but I mean, this is, at very least, it's kind of a dick move. I guess Dark Ages will do that to a civilization, but damn, there it is, I guess. We kind of commit a war crime there. Dark as that is, we move on and exfiltrate from the House of Salvation Ketch. Before we move on from this, though, I wanted to briefly discuss why I think this moment matters, aside from the fact that it was war crimes. Aramis has had no qualms about the Lightbearers being killed on sight before, and certainly would not take that opportunity under normal circumstances. She wants us dead, it's pretty clear. We've been there to best her at regular intervals, and frankly it's not surprising that she'd take a special interest in taking us in particular as a captive, if only so that she could dispatch with us herself. But in this instance I wonder what would have happened if we did actually properly surrender to Eramis. I wonder if she would have sat there and had a conversation or two with us, and if that was the case, I wonder what she would have told us. I say this not only because she asked specifically for us to get captured, but also because she left us messages in the Spire of the Watcher. This, combined with a number of other factors, makes me believe that Eramis might not necessarily want us dead. Anyway, back in space, we move through the station's exterior and find a way back into the station itself. It's at this time that we face off yet again with that massive Hive Knight, but we also, in the following rooms, get a moment where we see, yet again, the face of the cruelty that the Witness is enacting upon the House of Salvation. We talked a few videos previously, and also many times in this season already, about the punishment being doled out by the Witness to members of the House of Salvation as punishment for the failure to recover the artifacts that contained the remains of Nezarec. Those who've died at the hands of Guardians are being resurrected by the Witness into scorn. Eramis, in fact, comes on the comms to confirm this as we see the Witness's latest victim. Praxis, the once technocrat, once Eramis's friend, now defiled.
I know that Scorn. He's one of Eramis's lieutenants, but he died on Europa.
His name was Praxis, and you killed him. The Witness has returned to us. As it will return all the Lixni slain by the machine Spawn's hand.
Praxis's resurrection in this fashion clearly weighs heavily on Eramis, who knew Praxis from her time in the Prison of Elders. You don't need to hear her say it either. You can hear it in her voice. She doesn't celebrate his death and renewal as another chance for us to die at the hands of an Elixni. She resents what's happened. Her voice is heavy with loss. To see her closest friends turned into monsters is a fate that she's already said she wishes upon nobody. Finally, we arrive at our destination and proceed to insert the virus that we've brought all this way along with us. But the thing about this is that, rather mysteriously, we do get something to drop at the end of the mission. A strange weapon that is going to lead us down a rabbit hole of significant proportions. The Revision Zero, which I've already covered in another video this week. That'll be something that you should already have up, and if you don't have that up, then, well, that means that that's coming Friday. Either way, we'll see what it is. The biggest takeaway from this week, though, is the question that we have about Eramis's loyalty to the Witness, especially after this week and the final conversation of the week between her and Mara Sov. Take a quick moment to listen before we discuss this further.
My brother used to regale our people's children with the most fantastic stories. Twin kestrels who shared one heart and led a flock of birds against an unstoppable storm. A dragon born into the palm of a maiden's hand, but one day grew so large that it devoured the entire world. He spun tales about the Elixni, too. Weavers who transformed into wolves. Dancers who became devils.
You're baiting me. It won't work. I've seen what your influence does. Mithrax thinks he can make peace with the last city. His daughter tells stories like your Aldrin.
And the world is better for them. Aren't you tired, Eramis? I am.
Now you're wasting my time.
All people like you and I have is time. I spend mine thinking about everything I've lost. And what I'd give to get it back. You want the same.
Do not presume to know my mind.
You named your house Salvation, like something straight out of Aldrin stories. Ido's stories. We both want the best for the future. But we've pretended to be people we're not for so long that we've forgotten what else we are. Not just a queen, not just a Kell. A sister. A mother. Aramis? Are you there?
Both Mara and Aramis are connected by their past interactions with Mithrax, but as Mara Sov points out, they're also both ancient. It's pretty clear at this point that Aramis has been alive since before the Whirlwind, and that makes her easily thousands of years old. Mara Sov has of course lived for millions of years in the Distributory before returning to real space. They are bound together with the knowledge that the things that matter are all tied up in one's family, be it the family one is born into, or the family that you choose to make your life with, or the greater family that makes up one's people and civilization. Family defines Mara as a sister. It defines Aramis as a partner and a broodmate. The point of it all, I think, is that Aramis is watching the Witness tear her family apart. Her loyalty is being tested, and it's clear that she is starting to falter. For what it's worth, my money is on Aramis turning on her new master in the end, and showing that her colors weren't as evil as they necessarily seemed to be. I've stated as well before that Aramis's original goals and her desires, many of them were in fact noble aspirations. They were just pushed in the wrong direction. It will be interesting to see what happens and what moment of crisis might force this turn. However, I almost don't want to find out, because I can't imagine what Aramis would want to do if she found that there was something that would truly enrage her to the point that the Witness was an ally worth betraying. Remember, the fate of Arthris, Aramis's mate, and their offspring is still unknown. If Aramis sees her wife killed, I can only imagine the pain that she will experience, and I can only imagine that that would send her over the edge. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, you can bet your bottom dollar that Aramis is going to want revenge. In fact, it might not even need to go that far. She's already seen one of her greater friends, Praxis, and one of her top lieutenants turned into scorn. There's only so many more that can be converted. I wonder which one will truly be the tipping point. Kritis? Phylax? Who knows? Maybe it will be Ido. Either way, that's all from me for now. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you want more Destiny content, go ahead and hit subscribe and the bell next to subscribe to turn on those email notifications. If you have any thoughts of your own, leave them down below in the comments section, and as per usual, know that your viewership is quite enough for me. And know that my name is Byf. Rodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.